What have you discovered about yourself in this journey? Welcome to our final session. First, let me take a moment to celebrate you for showing up, reflecting, and being open to this journey. It is not always easy to look at yourself, your habits, your environment, and the systems around you, but you have done it, and that's a big deal. Today, we are trying to put everything together. This is the point where you step back and look at the big picture. What have you discovered about yourself? What's shifted? About how you think and feel? And most importantly, how will you take what you have learned to put it into practice? This isn't the end, it's just the beginning of a new chapter. Now it's time to reflect on the tools, insights, and changes you have explored, and I will share some thoughts on how to keep moving forward with curiosity and compassion. Let's start by looking back at what we have explored together. This course was designed around 4 interconnected areas that shape your life. We began by exploring your values, beliefs, and emotions, your internal compass. These are the core elements that define who you are and how you make sense of the world. Next, we examine how your actions align with your values and the habits or patterns that either support or hinder you. Then, we turn our focus outward to the relationships and communities around you. We look at how the people and environments in your life impact your experiences. And finally, we zoom out even further to explore the broader systems that influence your life, from work to societal structures, and how you can navigate them authentically. These quadrants do not exist in isolation. They are all deeply interconnected. Understanding how they work gives you an holistic view of your life, helping you identify where you can thrive and where you might need support for change. As I've mentioned several times before, I know this is a lot to take in, so let's keep in mind that we are working on an overview. The idea now is to revisit all the reflection exercises and notes you have produced through this course and compile them. This will help us see the full system surrounding you and to identify what needs to be done and where to start. In order to do so, I propose the following. On this page, you will find a more detailed instructions for the integration exercise, but I would like to show the logic behind it just to avoid confusion. A little detail is that I am a visual person, and just for that reason the final outcome will be a graphic. But please, if the graphic doesn't work for you, feel free to take the logic of it and shape it in a format that fits you best. So yeah, now let's change camera. So the idea is to have a pie that is divided in 4 quadrants for the 4 quadrants that we have explored: the inner world, behaviors, cultures, systems, and structures, and each one of them is subdivided in the most important subjects we have discussed. Inner world, for instance, is values, beliefs, and emotions. Behaviors are between private and public, and so on and so forth. The idea here is to visualize all the sectors or sections of each quadrant that we want to explore or evaluate, right? So for instance, you can add to behaviors masking or hypersensitivity, or in culture you can add a community, and so on and so forth. The goal of this graphic is to be able to see this. In the center is myself, is the most authentic part of myself, who is trying to just be. I have attitudes, I have values, I have behaviors, I deal with different things, so I am constantly trying to be. That's what these arrows represent. Outside the circle is the context, that is the summatory of everything that we have in our life. And the context is establishing some type of pressure on us, not necessarily negative, but there are always expectations. There could be stereotypes, ideals, paradigms, etc. The context is pushing inward to shape us. So all the white area becomes an area of negotiation. You see, between the things that I want, the things that I need, how I deal with things, and how the context treats me. So this is important because the result of this analysis has the objective to show you where you are in relationship with the context. So we go back to the text. Where am I? Yeah. And the idea here is to start drawing where we are. So we put dots. Let's start with values. If the context is the one that is defining my values, so the context is taking more space in this area of negotiation, that means that my values are going to be somewhere here, right? What's that? I cannot read it. Yeah, so it's going to be somewhere here. If my beliefs are also consequence of the context, etc., then let's going to be something here. But maybe my emotions are not. Maybe I feel constantly emotionally dysregulated. I have a lot of impulsive reactions, etc. And that per se is not a problem. That's a symptom like any other thing. And that shows that my inner self is reacting to this. My inner self feels oppressed, so I am very emotional because my inner self is trying to tell me something. My emotions are not suppressed. They are always there. It's just always there, and maybe there is too much because there is already a disbalance. And like that, we keep feeling according to the results of the exercises that we have done in the other sessions. And the idea is to end up with something like this, all right? The goal of all this, as I said at the beginning of the videos, is to design a balanced life. And the benefit of this graphic for me is that it can give us an idea. Let's say like in the middle is the balance, right? And that we have organized these dots based on the results of the exercises and all the reflections that we have had. So we can connect them. And at the moment that we connect, we can identify something like this. This is a graphic that can show us where to start working and strategizing. If we focus in the example of the first quadrant, our inner world, we can see that there is a disbalance between the values and beliefs that rule our life and how our emotions are reacting. Maybe it's about learning to self-regulate our emotions at the same time that we can learn to be more connected to our values and to reshape our beliefs accordingly. This will bring a more stable situation, let's say, in our heads that will bring us a bit more calm and balanced life as a goal. When we do all that analysis with this graphic, you can identify strategies to find the balance, to regulate where you are in each section and what could be done to improve. With the way that the graphic shows, it's easier to prioritize as well. Like, okay, this seems to be more problematic, this seems to be less problematic, etc. So we start adjusting dot by dot. Not all of them at the same time. We decide, okay, we start working here, we adjust all these things as much as we can to find balance, and then we see if the rest has an impact or not, and we keep working. And yeah, voila, that's the idea. Let's go back to the other camera. So yeah, as you might have seen there, that sort of fried egg, yeah, that's you. This visualization helps you see which areas your life needs balance, where you might need to prioritize reconnecting with yourself, and you where might need to reconnect with the culture around you. It is the accompanying exercises where you can find questions and prompts designed to help you reflect on the path that you would like to take moving forward from this. Something to consider is that, as I mentioned briefly before, when it comes to systems, one effective approach is to identify the most problematic part of the system and focus on it. Then reorganize everything around it to improve functionality. Once that part is working better, You can continue improving it until another part shows issues and then redirect the focus to that and repeat the process. It's all about prioritizing and strategizing. From my perspective, balance is achieved through a mix of reflection and action. We have gone now through a deep process of reflection, and it's time to take some action. With all this knowledge, now you can create a new reality by prioritizing and strategizing your next steps, aiming to find harmony with all the forces that coexist in your environment. As we concluded our final session, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on the journey we have been on together. What insights have stood out to you? And what changes are you excited to embrace moving forward? As you know, on this page you will find exercises to help you integrate everything we have explored and make a plan to get into action beyond this course. I hope that you found this helpful and get some tools to better understand yourself and your unique journey. If you feel you need more personalized support, I want you to know that I am here to help. Throughout my coaching services at Just Release the Kraken, I work with people like you, neurodiverse individuals navigating complexity, to create lives aligned with their values and potential. If you are ready to take the next step, I would love to support you in bringing your vision to life. Feel free to reach out, and I'm here to accompany you in this journey. Let's just release the Kraken.